and stuff, and it's like I've never seen her boobs as often as I have, and like now,
Wow.
because
Coming in hard.
I like
Wow.
I keep changing the bandies and stuff, and I'm like, Jesus. I mean, I've seen your boobs in the last 2 weeks more often than I've
No
seen in
wonder you're
33
sweating.
years.
It's practice for like when you wrap her and she's mummified. When you know, it's great practice.
For what I spent on them, I'm gonna fucking keep them. That's for sure.
Burying her in a gold.
Hey, but 33 years of marriage, right?
Right? Yeah.
God
That's
bless
what you do, man.
And who else has that? Who else is gonna have that bliss?
Right.
Except our newcomers to the marriage block, right?
Yeah, right. It's talking about marriage. What would it kick it off in the Big Apple?
Right.
Taylor Swift and
They'll probably go 33 days. days.
Travis Kelce. You know, it's like
33
Mark
days and
Anthony.
33%. Take it all.
It's like Mark Anthony and Cleopatra getting together, two separate cultures that we've grown really weary of, the NFL and all its posturing and untalented artists that fool a bunch of people like they're really great. Now, everybody says she's a great lady because she pays for all of the things out there and she gives bonuses to their people and things like that. But it's just like, talk about a false idol out there. Like, how much more can you show how important we are? Like, my proposal, although it was supposedly a surprise, had a photo expose on Instagram. Which,
right.
So do you just constantly have like these great photographers hovering around you? Was it a drone shot or was this an AI thing? I don't know. Maybe it was a recreation. But the bottom line is I looked at that and I was just like, ugh. And here's what turned me off completely to it. It was a star-studded event.
Oh, my God.
Which, means people that are exhausting.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And it's in New York, because, New York is just, they've got so many other things not going on there now. It's really a calm time in New York City. There's no crime, there's no other issues to contend with. And she paid supposedly for, Chris was telling us before we came on, because Chris has got his finger on the pulse. Chris was surprisingly knowledable about.
He provided security.
Yeah, like Michael Jackson.
462 toothpicks, 462.
And he was giving us some details on this wedding. I don't know about you guys. I've dumped social media. I can't stand it anymore. It's like literally it's crap. It's like everybody's putting out this world that they're not really living in. It's all posed and posturing. The one that's worst is LinkedIn, like went to an important meeting, going to come back and put these in place. What really happened is you went to this conference, you got shit-faced and played golf and had a headache every day during the conferences. You avoided the classes as much as humanly possible, but you got on LinkedIn to let us know how you're going to come back to work and not put any of that into play for the rest of us.
Right.
And, the fall of LinkedIn was for me, it was like Hanoi in Vietnam. Like, it's done. We're over. We're not going to win this one. We're leaving Kabul and people are hiding in, airframes and falling out at 5,000 feet. That's what, when LinkedIn fell, I was like, I'm done with social media.
See, I don't even have LinkedIn, but what I'm going to do, when I put it together, I'm going to also go as far back as like when I worked for Domino's Pizza in high school.
Right. And you should do it like a lot of these guys that go to the National Academy. They change their LinkedIn profile pic to the National Academy, pick flag behind them.
Right.
You should like have
a picture of them with the Kool-Aid guy next to him. That should be the LinkedIn picture.
Or the Domino's Pizza flag behind you when you're sitting there with that stupid baseball cap on.
Yeah, and I was part of the national campaign to avoid the Noid because that was
right. No,
but I mean, when you watch this stuff, like now it's just this whole Tyler Robinson, Candace Owens, like, okay, like we're still talking about this stuff, the Epstein files and all this other stuff. Like, and the only reason I caught this is because I still have social media because of my companies and stuff like that. So I caught this, and then, the Dami or whatever, I just like to see how he's crumbling. So I'd like to watch when he gets on and talk. But apparently they were questioning him about Taylor Swift's wedding, the big secret that they were all of a sudden now they're demanding, well, who picked up the bill for the police work and whatever, blah, blah. And he's like, well, she paid for a permit and the extra personnel in the tune of $160,000. And, what, like, okay, so she pays this, but okay. A, you're taking all these coppers away from New Yorkers, number one. Number two, you know how you inconvenience the entire city because this is, why don't you just fly to fucking Aruba like everybody else?
She should have just done it at one of those big ass Mooney weddings with that clown Kelce. I mean, you talk about a guy, like, she should put a ring in his nose and lead him around like the bull that he is. Like
Really?
a big dangerous thing that could hurt us, but is as dumb as a box of rocks. Like that guy, like literally was one of the best tight ends in football, and he got involved with her, and it just all
Fell apart.
descended.
Yep.
He's
Look,
a Swiftie.
I hope them happiness. I hope marriage works for people that literally think they're bigger than God themselves. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know people, oh, it's her right to do that. Yeah, you're right. It's her right to do that.
Sure.
But like, it's a union that fails incredibly too much.
Oh, I want to see like who was the pastor, who was the bridesmaid.
I read one article, and maybe it was just junk, but I read one article. I said Adam Sandler supposedly officiated it.
What?
I swear to God. Like, I swear to God, I was like, where does this stop? Like,
but he's wearing his Billy Madison jersey.
right. Like
He officiated it as the water boy.
But you know what the funny thing was is Kelsey was in the what was that? or Happy Gilmore 2. So
Right.
Jason Kelsey was in Happy Gilmore 2, and I was just like, oh, well, now it's time to turn it off because it's really bad. Like it was none of like those earlier Adam Sandler movies that were completely hilarious and largely celebrity free, other than him. And
Except for Bob Barker.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God!
It was. It's. I don't know. It just kind of like. Look, I know they got a right to it, and we're talking about it and adding credence to it, fuel for the fire. But it just sickens me, like how.
And who were their groomsmen and bridesmaids and
the village people?
Right.
I said Spice Girls.
Spice Girls.
Spice
Village
Girls
people.
were the
Spice
bridesmaids.
Hey, young man.
Yeah, like flash in the pan women changing music kind of artist.
Right.
Travis Kelsey. I mean, he probably didn't even ask his offensive line to be there with him. I wonder if like Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, like Andy Reid came up and would like walked her down the aisle. Like it's because like Taylor Swift's dad maybe didn't want to do it or something. He probably did because he's behind a lot of this fortune. But Andy Reid walked her down the aisle, I heard, and then when they got up there, Travis Kelsey headbutted him like he did in that one game where he wasn't getting enough reps. Don't get off my girl. Kind of a thing.
Right.
Like, and then the Kelsey brothers, like the one Kelsey brother is kind of a decent dude. He's, I think we're reaching with the Kelseys. We've reached saturation of like, my body is now rejecting right. Is water bad for your body? No, it's really good for your body because it's like mostly what we're made of. But if you drink too much, it becomes problematic. That's where the Kelseys are.
It's critical
like,
mass.
Right, I'm drowning in Kelsey like commercials and, Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift and the whole please just go away. Just go do your thing with all your money. Buy an island, subjugate women to work, and then act like you're better than everybody else or something like that. I mean, whatever. Just
Let's see what Kelsey predicts how long they're going to go. That's where you keep your finger on the pulse of that.
Right.
But I just think like, okay, I watch, some YouTube videos and whatever on entrepreneurs or whatever, but okay, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, but I don't give a shit how many airplanes he has, where he gets married, what he does with his kids. Are people so engrossed in that it's their livelihood that they want to know, oh my God, and then they stand out there the day she's getting married with posters and I'm like doesn't anybody work? Like what? Like how?
Swifties.
But are you that shallow, or are you that like you got nothing else going on in your life?
You're that empty.
Yeah,
you know more about Taylor Swift than you know about history, American history. Like go further back, human history, the history of maybe Christ or something like that, or if you're so inclined, maybe Muhammad, if you believe in that, or Moses. Like I don't know anything about that, but I know all about Taylor Swift and her background and her bad music and her pop. But she's great because she gives so much back. It's just like seriously,
what does she do to give back?
In Madison Square Garden, that's getting more than the WNBA team in there. Like she should do something along those lines. I mean, it's just like, I watched it and I was like, wow.
It's exhausting.
It is exhausting.
It is exhausting. It's so crazy. It's so crazy.
Sorry, Mary.
But,
so sorry, Swifty. Our Swifty listener block is going to drop off. So Chris,
right.
We'll be downloading 2 downloads next week and a number. So just be prepared for that.
Sorry about that.
Sorry about that.
I can't wait to hear the I can't wait to hear the background music Sean's going to drop into this. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. But the other thing we caught in the news, Scott, you got that thing from California, huh? The weed. So one of the little, where we're at, it's been about a year since we did the last one.
In my travels,
right,
as usual.
In my 55-foot in my 55-foot boardroom. But anyway, go
3
ahead.
weekends in a row in Michigan. Crazy. And I think actually Gretchen Whitmer is going to make that a requirement for me to still claim to be a Youper from the Upper Peninsula, is that I have to make a certain number of visits. It's like a Michigan passport that I have to get stamped every time I go up to Michigan so that I can still claim that I came from there originally. Just like Sean immigrated from New Jersey. It was a similar situation.
It's tough, but I did it. And I did it right.
Yeah.
I did it legally, so you know.
I did it legally as well. So, it's always funny when you're driving up that way through, and any of you have ever experienced driving from the Chicago area through Indiana up to Michigan, is just a nerve-wracking, completely stressful situation at most times because of the traffic. And I'm used to it now, and I've done it a million times, but
what's the name of that interchange, by the way, so our listeners know like what it's like to be a real Chicagoan? You don't use numbers in Chicago, you use names. What is it, like the Bishop Ford or something? What is that over there? You know,
you got
Bishop Ford Freeway.
Yeah, and then it ties into the Tri-State Tollway, and you have to go all words, and then you can there's options. Chicago Skyway, there's many
Barack Obama
names.
Expressway,
Barack Obama
Expressway,
I-55 Barack
but you need
Obama.
an ID. But you need an ID instead of a toll.
Right. Yeah, and yeah, it's all the names. I'm a numbers guy. I like the numbers. The names.
The Dan Ryan. Is it the Dan Ryan?
Dan Ryan, right. Yeah. Stevenson Expressway.
The Father Flager.
Yeah.
He's in the news as well, but we'll keep moving.
That's not all the middle schools.
Yeah,
but anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, we'll just keep moving.
The Father Flager entryway.
Remember the Ogden Avenue extension? It was like, that was like a wedding band when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Just like do a lot of
Chicago. Ogden Avenue extension. Yeah, they cover all Chicago songs.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a hard habit to break. That's for sure.
I was just gonna say that.
Anyway, sorry. Let's get back on topic.
So as I travel up to the beautiful Southwest Michigan, you got to love that now that they made weed legal. Essentially, I mean it is legal in Michigan. Every other billboard when you're riding up there is either, as you come through Northwest Indiana, it's some sketchy ambulance chasing attorney, some guy holding a baseball bat or a guy holding a hammer to tell you how tough they are to win money off a bus crash or something. But all the other ones, I mean, literally every other one, once you get up that way, especially getting closer to Michigan, is for the weed dispensaries. And I've noticed this over the years that we've gone from the farmers market and the winery and this distillery to like weed, first half ounce free, like, man, the biggest bud experience you can ever have. And it's just like, damn. Whoa. And when you get off any of those exits, when you first get into Michigan up there, I mean, it's just like dispensary. And I thought about it because I heard this story that we're talking about today is about the whole issue of legalizing versus black market. And there was a story that came out that essentially said what we've talked about for a long time, and many others have called it as well, that we were all sold on this legalizing weed thing, and that it was going to solve all these problems, and we were going to tax it and regulate it just like most of these blue states do, and think that it's going to be this game changer to fix their corrupt tax budgets.
Yeah, right.
And it is not working out that way, surprisingly, as many of these things. And what the story is, it's coming out of, primarily California. And
right, government mismanaging California.
Yeah,
no way.
Just when you thought California was turning a corner. So essentially, what they're talking about is that here we are, where years ago they were saying, "Oh, weed's such not a bad thing, and it's decriminalize this and all these." And I love when Sean always would make the analogy of when they say people go to prison for weed. Like, nobody goes to prison for weed unless you are driving a U-Haul truck full of weed that you're trying to smuggle back to the Midwest from Colorado. But it's been slowly decriminalized, and we went from it being arrestable to writing a ticket and go on and on. But what did we say? there's always going to be a black market for this. And this is the story that, yes, you have opened all these legalized weed shops, even though it's still technically illegal at the federal level. All these states have just taken upon themselves to say, okay, well, we're going to, at the state level, we're going to say it's okay. Now what's happening?
Which I just want to interrupt real quick.
Yeah.
If we have an attorney out there, could somebody reach out to us? Because I would like to know how it could be illegal on a federal level, but they could legalize it on a state level. Because my understanding is you can make laws stricter, but not looser. So if there's somebody out there, reach out to us, would you? Okay, go ahead, Scott.
Yeah. So California, here they are now. They have, I forget the title of it. It's basically like an enforcement arm of the state that goes after these illegal weed shops, because they have so many places that are just using storefronts as whatever else, but then they're selling gummies and vapes, weed, all this different kind of stuff. And you know why it is? You know why they're doing that is because the states aren't getting their revenue. And that's why they're like, you know what, we need to enforce this because we're losing out on our tax money. So here you've gone from, and I'm starting with California because they were the biggest part of this story, but you have gone from essentially saying we need to stop criminalizing weed, and it's putting lower income and lower socioeconomic groups, it's creating more court cases for them, all these things that they tried to like blame it on. And then we got peddled the whole it's medicinal. And I'm not saying that there's not medicinal use for it, and there is, but that was being used as like I think like a foot in the door to just push it towards recreational. And they were selling everybody on this is going to be the solution. We'll legalize it. We won't have all these people going to court. We're all going to live happy and high and have a good time. Oh, but as soon as the state's not getting their money and other people are selling weed that they can't tax at some outrageous rates in some places, oh, now we're going to start enforcing that again. So it's funny how we've gone kind of full circle on that to now create another enforcement arm against it, but it's really just mostly a revenue enforcement arm. It's not a criminal enforcement arm.
Yeah, and if you want to go back to episode 110, we talked about it on the episode we called Pimp Daddy G. When the government comes in, it is just another pimp for making money on this. We've talked about this in the past, some of these problems. We reviewed the idea of all of these things. This NPR article is now like acting like, is, oh my God, it's a revelation here as to what was going on. I mean, this is being called by a lot of groups long before this as to what was going to happen. And in California, of course, you've got all of the other things that can go along with it. The illegal growers that are doing this are using storefronts that are not legalized. So it's really impossible for people to go in there. Like you'd need like literally armies of people to be going around and checking on that. And again, nobody's going to cooperate with you. It's like going into any neighborhood where there's a lot of crime. Like you talk to the people in the neighborhood and they don't cooperate with the police. It's no. Now you're talking about everybody that's smoking weed and doing whatever. Nobody's going to cooperate. This goes back to like, prohibition, and nobody was like, telling on the bootleggers and things like that because like they were getting drunk and whatever off of that. I've always said all along, we should have just legalized weed from the get-go. So we kind of just dealt with it and understood it and what it was. But, the alcohol producers and the lobbies didn't want that either. I mean, because I would, like I've always said, I would much rather deal with somebody that was high as a cop than anybody that was drunk. People that are drunk, you work in a bar district. If you're a young officer, it's like a hard tour. It's like Vietnam. You need to get out as quickly as possible because it's going to be hairy. It's going to make you angry. It's going to make you think people are that stupid. Weed is a totally different animal. Like if all of those bars were weed dispensaries, you'd be like, yeah, man, our job's great. Everybody's willing to listen to you. Like, hey, man, I'm not looking for any trouble. That's weed. That's what weed does to people. I mean, there are a lot of other things that go along with it. Now we're seeing it because government's got involved in it. The black market has thrived, like we talked about. The higher tax rates have pushed people to really get into those markets. And now what you're seeing is with all of illegal growing going on, they contaminate the soil. California has enough problem like dealing with the environmental wackos. But now they're got these folks that are contaminating water sources, fertilizers, all of this crap that, you take for a demanded market now that you've removed the stigma of smoking weed so much. So it was a nightmare that we predicted that, everybody talks about, like we talked about on the last show, about, the founding of the nation was steeped in slavery. Well, go back to like our vices. It was founded in a messed up process, as far as I'm concerned. Like, cannabis is from the earth, it's natural, it was a part of the process. It's been around long before us, it'll be here long after. A lot of other cultures have dealt with it and not had the problems that we have with it. But again, now you got money being made in the process, and we're going to ham-hand it over, deal with it. You got cops that are now coming down on people. They're task forces that are going out dressed in green suits that everybody's afraid of, to deal with these situations. But everybody's cool with that when government's saying that, because they're not getting their nut. But it's
Right.
like, it's really just so aggravating and bad government yet again, like the food
But
triangle, like
that's
DARE, all this other stuff that they think they know what they're talking about, and they don't talk to the people that are down on the street dealing with it every single day. You could have asked any cop that did drug work, and they would have said to you, "Oh yeah, this is going to make the black market flourish." Legalized prostitution. Oh, it's a victimless crime. You know what that's going to do for victimization and objectification for women, which is already a problem in California with prostitution. I just read an article from a news source that I like to follow. It's not social media, by the way. It government comes in, and it just like I don't know. It's like blind, feeling in the dark for a light switch, and it's just so. And they don't
because they don't want to learn about it, Sean. All they want to do is they want to come in and figure out how they can get money. Right. They don't want to learn about it.
And then they're telling us how to do CIT and what we should be regulating and what we should be doing. It's just an extension of, folks, you don't pay attention enough to your government. You elect the most talented and ugly people you can possibly find in your society in America to become politicians. They don't know what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing. And one that does, people don't want to listen to them. They don't want to hear it. They're just absolute power corrupts absolutely. They go to DC and then or their capital, and they get rich off of these broken systems that they put into place because they think they're doing what's right. And no one asks the end user. Like, bring the weed growers and bring the cops that bust them in together and say, hey, how would we work this all out so it's going to work? Like,
because it's just a money grab, and you see it. And the black market.
South Carolina, it's not even legal. It's not even legal in South Carolina. I don't know what it's like in Florida, Chris.
It's not legal in Florida either.
But every store has got THC enhanced, drinks that you can buy. Every store, vape shop is selling all sorts of things that promote the use of cannabis. And it's like the slope of we're slowly going there as well. South Carolina is definitely old school and conservative and things like that. But we're on our way. We're on our way towards it, and we're going to be dealing with these headaches and problems in black market. And the problem with the black market is, what folks don't realize is how violent it is. It's like it becomes really, really violent. Like most of the deaths that we saw in the town that we worked in together, the three of us, when it was related to the drug trade, it was always weed, because that's where all the money was. And they're not coming after your weed; they're coming after your money. And guys sit on a lot of weed, and they sit on a lot of money because there's so many different people that are like, "Oh, it's not heroin, it's not MDMA, ecstasy, it's freaking weed," and everybody's cool with it.
And that's a big part of the story, is that they said that what happened with this push, like California, is that a lot of these jurisdictions, they got it pushed on them so quickly that they just kind of went hands off it, because they're being told, hey, we're going to legalize it. It's a big push to legalize it. We're going to decriminalize and this and that. And so now they're kind of going, all right, well, maybe we're going to change our enforcement angle, because if you're just going to legalize it, then we don't need to be putting so many resources into that specific thing. But then all that does is, and like to quote them in there, it said it really created an air of impunity, and the unlicensed activity really skyrocketed, because then people go, oh, wait, the guys who are selling it illegally are like, shit, they're not doing anything.
Right.
Like, nobody's getting in trouble for anything. Right. So I might as well just keep doing my thing. But then you had Washington State, which I was actually kind of surprised. They actually kept pressure on the law enforcement angle of it after they legalized it in 2012. And they said that gave this new licensed industry time to establish itself. So they said, okay, listen, this thing is going to happen. Us as law enforcement, we're going to deal with it. This is going to be the next new thing, but let's kind of like ease this in so that we have time to put the right things in place. Like Sean said, legislators and people who own these grow businesses and all that kind of stuff. It's like, okay, if this is going to happen, then like, what are the rules, right? Like, what are the rules going to be, instead of, and that's kind of an Illinois thing. Illinois came in again, pushing this. Oh, this is really going to be great. Medicinal. Yes,
right.
There is some of that, but they very quickly launched into the, oh, we're going to do like recreational, and now that has just blown up. And what happens, we talked about this before, what happens with law enforcement? How many people, we talk about people driving around Illinois all the time, you can smell weed coming out of their cars. How many cops here in Illinois actually know how to do field tests for an impaired driver on somebody that's been smoking weed? It's very,
they didn't put that in place to address it prior to the legalization of it. So the effort was get all this money for it, get all this, stuff passed to make people happy so we stay in power. But they didn't put any in place that killed the innocent people, that whether you're a weed smoker or not, you can still get killed by a DUI driver more than any other thing out on the road other than drugs. But now it's drug related, just like alcohol. It's like they didn't put any of the stuff. We brought Zach Azari on to talk about that, leads the state in DUI arrests. And he talked extensively about how few people are actually learning this and the bureaucracy of catching a system up to. Everybody has to know their field sobriety tests for alcohol, but very few people know the field sobriety tests for weed. Are the academies in states looking at that? Are the legislators saying now we need to kind of revamp our system completely for DUI enforcement?
But they're not looking at the revamping that, because like now, like we talked about, the black market, has made a killing on it. And now, like, they're not getting the tax money they thought. So like Illinois, I had this article that, they have a House Bill 5784. And basically what Illinois wants to do is that they're saying that it's not very competitive. They want to make it more competitive to have dispensaries. When you read into it, it's basically saying, hey, we made a huge mistake. We didn't really do this the right way. The black market has gone crazy. So now we have to loosen up the regulations so more people could get into the quote retail aspect of it.
Yeah.
And what they want to do is they want to remove the requirements for the dispensaries to have security contractors. They want to expand the cannabis possession limits, create pathways for hemp businesses to enter Illinois regulated cannabis market. The proposal would also make changes involving medical cannabis access, licensing, testing requirements, taxes, drive-through pickup, and social equity business programs. So basically, and as you go on and stuff like that, it's just said, okay, we aren't getting the tax revenue that we thought because we didn't think it through. The black market took off. Now we have to increase the amount of dispensaries we're going to allow. And the only way to do that is to reduce the capital that they need to get into these markets so that we could kick them square in the chest for the taxes that we thought we were going to get to begin with. So instead of just doing it right the first time, they're trying to, backpedal and get their tax money some other way, and they're putting it under a pretense. When was the last time Illinois cared if I had enough money to start a business? They can care less.
And you know that firsthand, buddy.
Exactly. I wanted a $10,000 loan to start a business. They're like, nope, sorry. But now, we're going to let people start a dispensary with a little loan or maybe no loan or small stuff so we can get the taxes.
Here's the best idea I can think of in a blue state. Try to get involved in a dispensary, but grow it in a daycare. You'll get all sorts of money thrown at you. Chris, you'll be driving like one of those electric.
Here comes Minnesota's next flag.
It's going to be a great idea. It won't harm the kids at all because we will regulate that. We'll make sure that people go in and make sure the kids aren't accessing the weed plants. The thing about all of it is that like it's coming. And the feds just need to legalize it and figure it out because we get some states that do, some states that don't. There's federal, like Chris said, it's just like, look, it's coming, folks. Just legalize it. I mean, that's my take on it. Like, let's just get this out of the way. Let's fumble our way through this process and get it right. But take all the money that you're going to make from it and make sure you invest in the right things to help people with the enforcement. I'm not talking about talking people like recovery, all that bullshit that people are like, oh, it's all touchy-feely, all that other crap. I'm talking about if you break the rules, just like I would say this about the Second Amendment. I firmly believe that people should have access to firearms to protect themselves for a whole lot of other reasons. There are very few limitations that I think should be put on that. But in the same sense, if you are a user of that right and you abuse that right, you should be jammed so fast and so hard for the responsible users. Because look, there's a lot of people that smoke weed and there's a lot of people that drink and they do it responsibly. They don't, the Uber industry itself is like a testament to how much people take seriously not DUI. So
Yeah,
when you're in
my
a town
daughters
with a
were
bar
out this
district,
weekend, and it was $200 in Ubers. I'd rather
right.
pay that. I'd rather pay that
than the
any
DUI
day.
costs, right, and the insurance and everything else. So again, it's a matter of personal responsibility with this. Like people would say, "Oh, you cops, I mean, it was funny when it was starting to become a legalization talk, and you pigs ain't going to have nothing to do." I go, wait till daddy's looking for his tax money, buddy. You're going to be so jammed. It's going to be civil. We'll be in your business way more than we possibly could, because right now it's criminal, and we need a whole lot more information to get a judge to go, yeah, you can do what you got to do there. Now it's just like, well, he ain't paying his taxes on us. We think it's a legal store. It's some civil matter that they can deal with, and 51% of the information that they need. And now they're forming more and more. Like California has formed task forces of like SWAT guys that go and deal with this weed problem. So you got more of what you didn't want because everybody was doing the quick money grab, and you elect people that have no, like we've talked about, they don't know how to balance a checkbook. Now you're going to put them in charge of policy, like the legalization process of cannabis, a vice that we have no control over. We can't stop people from and we pity them. So we give more money to them for recovery, even though we're doling out. Like stand in any bar district, all of those bars that are pumping out all those goofs that are urinating, throwing up, fighting with the police, doing all sorts of stuff. Guess what they're getting? They're getting legally sanctioned to do that by the government. The government's giving them a liquor license to do what they're doing. The problem is a lot of times, and I'm going to say, I've worked in some cities that have been really stern about it and it's worked really well, and other cities that haven't, where they rescind the liquor license and you lose your ass, or the insurance companies can go, there are too many problems associated with this bar. Your insurance rates are going through. But if you don't have an aggressive platform on the front end to deal with that, you're just going to be picking up the pieces, sweeping up puke, watching girls take off shoes that they probably shouldn't be wearing when they're walking around in city centers anyway, walking through puke and pee and all sorts of other stuff. It's like, we didn't really think this one
Sounds like Thurston's dorm room.
Right. But to me, it's a matter of you see it. It's funny because I came from a state that it legalized when I watched it happen. And like Scott said, the change of the billboards down here, we have the same thing, but it's all THC related stuff, like how it's not harmless, all of these things. And the lawyers are here too. Like Scott said, those annoying lawyer billboards. Just, I don't know.
Sean can still get that CBD oil to rub on his knees.
Right.
So keep things loose.
He gets a little of that. Remember the old Tiger Balm? The other that you would go to the register and there's a little tin.
But it's funny because you got these billboards that are about promoting THC use, and then right next to it are the lawyers that are going to get you out of the trouble for irresponsible use. There's one group. There's one group of guys. There's like these 4 attorneys that are standing on the billboard, and they look like these dudes that you'd meet at a country club and go, "Oh my god, what a bunch of fucking jerk offs," because they went to law school. And honestly, they look like the guys. If you've seen the new Joker with Joaquin, Phoenix in it. They look like the guys that he shoots up in the subway train. I'm like, oh my god, that's exactly who these guys are. You almost feel like, where's the Joker when you need him? But it is what it is. It's a whole industry based upon your vice, and then how attorneys will get you out of your responsibility from using the freedom that you've been given and the responsibility that it takes to use it. They'll get you out of it, and accuse the police of or the very state that gave you the right to use it as being an oppressor of you.
And I don't even know what the current tax is on it in Illinois, but
I think it's like 33%.
About the article is that depending on where you're at in California, tax on licensed weed can be as much as 38%.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. I mean, we all pay taxes excessively on everything, fuel, property, groceries, you name it. But when you're thinking about that dollar amount, and I'm sure, the Pritzker here is probably licking his chops going, oh yeah, there's another thing. I keep raising it because people are still going to want to smoke weed. And there's people who just, like you said, use it responsibly and they don't have a connect to get an ounce of weed from some dude that they meet at the Home Depot parking lot,
Right.
And they have to.
That's what they're doing. They're driving.
They have to buy it this way.
They're driving the mom and pop shops out of business. That's what this is all about.
Right. Well, to answer your question,
it's like the Walmart of weed.
Right. Well, to answer your
don't
question,
give up, Shiesty.
Right.
Give him up.
Right. Well, and to answer your question, Scott, and don't ask me how I know this, but in the state of Illinois, your tax rate is based on the potency, the THC potency. So you can go to 20%. You start at 20, and you can go up to, and the highest is 40%, based on the potency
that's
of your
the
THC.
Same scale as Sean's cholesterol medicine.
Right. Exactly. Right. 80 milligrams.
He has a higher copay now that he's up to 80 milligrams.
Right. So like what, like Chris, so what you should be doing is like maybe just looking at ditch and labeling it the wrong way. Like, you know, they haven't regulated that yet, I'm sure, through the FDA. So it's just like, it's all ditch. It's like, man, this is like seeds and stems.
Dude, what's all
and
these
stuff.
seeds popping in here, man?
Man.
Oh, that's only 5% tax.
Yeah, right. It's like, you know, it's like getting a iceberg lettuce, or, you know, no, but what's that? What's the lettuce that rots as soon as you look at it? That you
or whatever it is.
Yeah, like that's exactly what you could use that excuse. Like, oh, it's just, you know, it's the shipping. I have no control over it.
But it's organic. It's better for you.
And if I don't do this right, they'll shut me down. If I you know, I'll lose my license. Anyway.
Well, we're going to continue to do follow-ups and stuff on our shows and stuff. And this is the one that, you know, Sir Scott brought to our attention. And, you know, it's going to continue to be quite the journey on how, you know, the states and governments think that they're going to have a money grab. But it's like we always say, you know, the bottom line is the fact that you got to pay attention, you got to be aware, and you got to vote the people. And that's going to, you know, do common sense politicians. You know, that's all we got to say, you know. But anyway, thank you guys so much for listening to our show. Please go to where you get your podcasts, download, subscribe, leave a rating, review, tell all your friends, because we really want to make the world a better place. Please, if you have a comments, concerns, questions, want to be a guest, have a suggestion for a show, or have a suggestion for a guest, email us at 3copstalk@gmail.com. Or go to our website, 3copstalk.com, and you can get old episodes. What was that number, Sean? 110?
I'm sorry. What
was that? 110 was that episode that we did?
I'm going to buy my first bag of legal weed after I retire. I'm sorry,
hey, Sean, could you put down the bong and answer the question, please? What's the show?
I'm anointing myself with bong water right now. Anyway, sorry.
So
what was the question? I'm sorry.
What was the show? What was the first show? Was it 110?
110. Yeah, it was called Pimp Daddy G. Yeah.
Okay, you can go to 3copstalk.com, get that show, and you can also leave us an email there. Otherwise, please tell all your friends. It really helps with the show. We really want to make the world a better place. Thank you so much for listening, and have a blessed day.